How are you today? It's a question I like to ask because a lot of things are happening on daily basis. Over here, we're all fine, we're cool, we're healthy, and we're keeping safe and healthy. Now, every day we hear that life is a school of its own, a school where we are constantly sitting on our desk, facing the board and learning new things. And one thing we constantly learn, I don't know if it's new or not, it is change. Change remains a constant and a core course for all of us. New things happen every day. And recently, not quite recently, above 1 year now, the person or the event or the whatever you want to call it, but I know it's a virus called the SARS COVID-19 came in and caused a lot of change. And we are again in front of our desk looking at the board and analyzing how to cope with it. What am I talking about? COVID-19, the new norm, and our lifestyle. Well, before I get to talk so much, we have guests coming in, a lot of features to enlighten us on different, facets of life. But let's get to find out what our backgroundist has already done for us. That's Francis on the backgrounder.
It is often said that the only thing constant in life is change. But adjusting to change can be challenging, be it planned or unplanned, gradual or sudden. Over the past few months, we have experienced an unprecedented shift in our way of life due to COVID-19 that is gradually becoming the new normal.
Life during COVID-19 is not a palatable one because it's not something prepared for. It's a situation where everything is thrown out in jeopardy. You don't know where you start from. Because one, your finances are affected, your health is not sure because you might go out and come back, you're already a carrier. So you are afraid of a lot of things. You don't want to lose your life because most blacks, especially Nigerians, has underlying factor. They have terminal diseases here and there. Some doesn't even know they have these terminal diseases.
Life as we knew it, engagements, commitments, interactions, celebrations, corporate infrastructure, advocacy, everything has been changed. The form is distinctly different from whatever it had been.
Amidst the current of COVID-19 pandemic, global, national and state leaders recognize the essential role that transportation plays in moving the world through this unprecedented event. How are citizens responding to the new normal in the transportation sector?
For me, at the level of my own engagements, it's worked very well. The Ubers everywhere, people get in, you make sure everybody's got it on. The sanitizers in the cars, in the plane, as you're getting onto the plane, as you get to the airport, you're coming in through the, what they call the spraying of the luggage, you come through the check-in points, everything is being followed through with maximum protocol.
Consumers are rapidly adapting to the new situation, not only with regards to changing health and well-being behaviors, but also with what they expect from their banks. We see banks prioritizing and driving digital banking and payments to meet the increasing demand for remote and mobile solutions.
You go early in the morning thing, then you pick number and maybe probably go back to your house and take your bath before you come back, and then that's the only time you can be attended to. Sometimes you go to bank and you find out that your number is 500 and something. How do you go about that? And you have to stay in the refugee canopy. And then when you look at the canopy, you find that it's overcrowded. I used to ask them, what about the distance that we are asked to keep?
In the wake of the pandemic, shopping, meetings, and social events have all moved online. However, people are asking about the validity of online ceremonies. Currently, there is no legal provision for online marriages in Nigeria, but a new law has made it legal for couples in New York of United States to hold virtual weddings.
Everything has gone online, virtual, on platforms, and we must be able to re-engage, re-educate, re-facilitate, recompose the entire environment. I work in the media and events industry, and we host there are all kinds of hybrids happening now. People are dying, and we are hosting wakes, burials, diasporally for the local viewing audience, family members, and people are engaging at a level at which it's like, this is somewhat even better, in a sense, than all of us being herded in one place doing the Owambe style cultural trend.
People are on that sector, they are making their money because everybody now use delivery boy, delivery man, delivery woman, delivery company, logistics company. Those are the people they used to, have their things done with. So to some extent, the new norm on that side is favoring both the people that are patronizing them and the people that are giving the service, because you are safe. I mean, you can go to Jumia, order something, and then they bring it to you, the comfort of your house. Nobody is coming in. The delivery man, if he must come in, you can use the whole tanker of sanitizer to sanitize him before he goes into your gate.
The coronavirus pandemic has brought about recent changes and disruptions in the educational sector, which serves as a catalyst for the development of any nation. Educational sector globally is seen to be shifting towards e-learning in order to cushion the effect of this pandemic.
The new norm sometimes comes with the pros and cons, but in this case the cons are more than the pros. But we have to accept it because that is what we are faced with.
It's an old song. Nigeria go survive. Our people go survive. Africa go survive. Oh, Nigeria go survive. Whatever it is, we are the most dynamic, innovative people of African descent anywhere in the world. It's proven diasporally, it's proven here at home. For Nigeria, we will not break down, we're breaking through.
Preventing COVID-19 transmission is dependent on public compliance and private sector cooperation to suppress human-to-human transmission. Therefore, our focus on Weekend Deal today will be on life in terms of COVID-19, the new normal.
Thank you, Francis, for that lovely background. It sets up the conversation for today. And when I say conversation, it simply means I am not alone in the studio. I have a radiant personality seated with me, a lady who has, for me, broken all lines just to ensure that she keeps her head standing. She'll be educating us more on today's issue. I would joyfully welcome a barrister, a businesswoman, an entrepreneur, Ma'am Loveland Badenford. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you.
All right. Speaking of business, I know you're into a lot of production, and prior to now, you have been, doing so well. I'm contemplating, wondering, with the COVID period, you haven't seemed to, go back a little bit. How has it affected you?
First of all, I'll tell you one truth that we all know. COVID affected everybody, every business, not only in Nigeria, but all over the world. But I'll still tell you, there are still some wise people. Just like you asked me, you're a barrister, a lawyer. What are you doing in business? And the answer is this. Look around. What do you do to keep going? So COVID affected me, honestly, but then somehow we got help. I turned into positive effects.
I recall when COVID came out, somebody told me this woman is smart. She quickly went into producing face mask and all of that. that was good thinking. While a lot of people were on lockdown,
Yes,
you were busy doing other things. But I still need to know beyond just getting into the production. What other effects did it, impact did it make on your business?
Okay, when you talk about production, it didn't really affect me so much in production because my production actually, instead of going down, it went high.
Wow.
Yeah. Now, like you rightly said, that somebody told you, yes, what I did when COVID started, I've told you what I am. Well, I manufacture a lot of things. I manufacture shoes, military shoes. Actually, I manufacture and export to other African countries, like their military shoes. I manufacture and export to them. I manufacture school shoes, uniforms for the police, everything, then bags. But like the effect of COVID, first of all, a lot of private sectors, they patronize me because some of them are distributors. Most of the things actually you see in the markets, I manufacture them.
Wow.
Our people, yes, they like to
Wow.
like foreign, well, in quotes, because if you go to America, you still buy my products. If you go to Canada, you still buy my products. If you come to UK, you still buy my product.
Do you also change your label? Because I've noticed some things you buy outside Nigeria, without really taking us off the track. Instead of putting made in Nigeria, they put made in Italy shoes.
I'm proudly a Nigerian.
Thank you.
And I mean, why should I do that? In fact, now I remembered having a meeting with a man from one of the let's say Western countries. What he told me, he said, "I'm so proud of you. I have to set up something that I will only sell things made in Nigeria."
Wow.
Yeah, because I'm also an ambassador, so I have to, anywhere I am, I have to talk about my country. I don't believe in all these negative things about my country because in every country all over the world, they all have one sort of negative thing or the other. So why should I keep bringing my country down? I don't do that. So like I told you, now the private sector, they come to me, they bring different orders. I design for them, I produce for them, they sell in the markets. But when COVID came, some of them, it actually affected their businesses, like especially during the lockdown. They couldn't sell as they used to. But then that didn't bring my business down. What I did quickly was, what's happening? I remember at a point, we were producing some NYSC uniforms and some of their boots. I told my staff, see, everything must have to stop. We have to look at what is happening. Now, the face mask, everybody has to wear face mask. Stop some of these productions. I actually started fabric face mask, and I started like customizing them. Like I'll use logo, I'll print maybe let's say NTA, Tech Font, Elizabeth, even my name, Loveline, and sometimes I'm so happy. I watch the telly and I'll be seeing people wearing my face mask. Then again, I know, like our people, they love foreign things. Now, I find out that a lot of people, they want to wear KN95, 3-ply mask. And I tell you, they were so expensive at the point. So because they were being imported.
Yes.
Now, the shipping became too expensive. The clearing, everything about it became too expensive. You know what I did? And then shipping became something very tedious. Normally, it could take like, let's say 45 days or thereabout or 35 days even to ship things from maybe China, Turkey to Nigeria. But then it could take like 3-4 months.
Wow.
You know what I did? I said, okay, fine. However you want it, I'm equal to the task.
Give it to them.
Yeah, I'll give it to you. That's why I'm a good citizen of Nigeria.
Very good.
And that's why I proclaim it everywhere I go. What I did, I imported all the machines.
And started
And
producing
then,
them here.
to make sure I get them and help people before it gets too bad, I did air cargo.
Oh, okay.
And you know what that means? It costs a lot of money because
yes.
air cargo, they charge you according to the weight.
expensive.
And those things, I'll tell you, I mean, they weigh like thousands of kilos. But yes, I did that.
And you paid off.
It's not just because of my business, but because of also my love for the country. And because I want people to know
Without really cutting you off, I'd like to know, because you mentioned how people love foreign things, and one of the reasons why they love it is not just their physical part of it, it's because they feel it has quality. But you come in and you're able to provide the same quality. What do you do differently from the regular Joe or the streets who produces anyhow? How do you
Now,
maintain standard?
what I did was to bring that same machine they used to produce those quality things, those foreign things. I brought them back and I started producing exactly what our people, those things our people were importing. And it's not just producing those things. It's because we have requirements, we have regulations in this country. We have NAFDAC, we have a Standard Organization of Nigeria.
And
What
it
I
has to be
did,
followed.
I asked them for their requirements. They gave me everything. I brought them all in.
It's not.
Se-
I know. Being a lawyer, you must.
Oh, yes.
You will ensure that you follow all the
I
rules.
know. Oh yes, I did. Standard Organization of Nigeria, when they came, they didn't know that. They were like screaming, "Oh my God, it's unbelievable!" COVID just started, and you already have all this in place. It was approved. NAFDAC came for visits. Well, every setup is okay, but we have to try the quality. With our pleasure, they took the mask, did their quality check, everything. Came back to me with approval. So now, tell me, the mask I'm producing here and the exact one you're importing, which one do you think is better?
Oh, your own, definitely.
Yeah, because some of the ones they import, they don't really have that quality. Physically, they might look the same.
But in terms of
But
hygiene
yeah,
and
in
health,
terms of
it may not be the same.
exactly.
I'll take a pause on that and get right back to you. When we come back from what we're going to do, I'll follow it up with a question for you in terms of marketing and actually reaching the final consumer. I'm talking about online buying and selling, and this lovely feature will just provide us what we need before I ask the next question. Don't go away.
Since 2020, COVID-19 has affected the global economy, so people are being more mindful of how they spend their money. Some businesses had to shut their doors, some entrepreneurs lost money, and everyone has had to make difficult decisions. People cannot spend what they do not have, so funds are only being spent when necessary. Buying goods and services on the web has been common for a long time, with sites like Jumia and Konga, but it is now more prevalent as people have turned to online shopping because it is safer and convenient.
So we've worked with governments, places like Nigeria, South Africa, Ghana, Ivory Coast, Kenya, and other markets to make sure that when customers land on our landing page, that we're able to integrate the NCDC information so people have access. And we've also launched in some places partnerships around building the right habits for consumers. So washing of hands, for example, was launched in Nigeria. Every aspect of our business is relevant at this point in time. So logistics, again, very important. People are either in lockdown situations or they can't, there are restrictions of movement. So being able to reach the last mile is something that's very important because we are able to source certified face masks and all different types of essential items for governments. We've done that for Nigeria, we've done it for Ghana, Kenya, Uganda, Egypt, a couple of other countries. We've done the same as well.
During the lockdown and curfew, Nigerians eventually went to the markets to buy necessary household items while using the internet to purchase dispensable products, even as the reaction of many traders in the market was to drastically raise the prices of regular commodities. The traders' justification for this was that import had reduced, thus driving them to make do with locally sourced products even as they were surprisingly more expensive. Still, the pandemic led to a definite increase in online shopping.
Well, I think it has increased because there is more enlightenment that was brought about by necessity. The necessity of the lockdown made so many people begin to become aware of the ease of doing or getting what you want without even going out. So I think the awareness is more now. I'm not thinking in my own view that it will reduce.
Yeah, I think I did it more during the lockdown when Corona started too. Because when we are on lockdown, we're at home, we are not doing anything. we are less busy. So the only time you have is your phone. You go online, you browse, you chat, you read the news and everything that's happening around the world in respect of the corona. So you tend to spend more during that time because I'm less busy by then.
The most commodities bought on the internet were food, electronics, cosmetics, and other trivial things. Even as people bought the essentials, they still engaged in frivolous things due to boredom. Ultimately, they had to distract themselves from the reality of the coronavirus. The way business is conducted in Nigeria is undoubtedly changing, and it proves that it should be able to adapt to any situation.
All right, we still have Barrister Loveland Banifo with us, and we saw what we just transmitted as the feature on online shopping and buying. And I know that as a producer, your intention is to get to the markets. How have you been able to, manage the online shopping from your clients and then also sending out buying for yourself and selling for yourself?
And first of all, we know about WhatsApp, social media, and a lot of that. We do that. And then at the moment, we've not really started like putting our products online to buy online because we are really having a high demand. The demand is terribly high at the moment. Wow. So, and then what I did, because I just don't want to disappoint any of our customers, any of our clients, what I started doing is, you bring your order, we finish it, ship it out to you. Because if we continue like, oh, you have to put the ones on the online shopping, it will be overwhelming.
When you talk about your demands being quite heavy and you're trying to ensure that you satisfy your clientele, I see maybe in my head big warehouse filled with goods, big warehouse filled with people working and all that, and this is COVID-19. How have you been able to ensure that your staff are not compromising protocols, and then they're also keeping abreast with the hygienic standard?
That's a good question. First of all, during COVID, I did not mention that I started producing what we call disinfection channel.
Disinfection channel?
Disinfection channel.
Work?
It's like a tunnel.
Oh, okay.
It's even sold outside Nigeria. You see that you have DLK on it. Like in some countries now, I watched it on the telly. The distributors, they took to them and they made it like, even in the airport, you see them. How it works is this. We set it up. We said it's like a tunnel. First of all, before you come in, there's a sanitizing unit. You automatically, it dispenses. You sanitize your hand. Some of them have automated gates. And those ones with automated gates is that if you don't have your mask, it will not let you in.
Oh, really?
Yes. And then some of them, all of them will have temperature reading. And it will also warn you, wear your mask. So when you pass, first of all, you take the sanitizer, sanitize your hand, it reads your temperature. If it's high, alarm will blow. Then the security will not let you in. Then, once you go inside, it sanitizes your whole body. The whole body, your clothes, everything is sanitized. Apart from that, I think I presented it to federal government as well, waiting for approval. For it to be used in Nigeria as well. Now, apart from that, I make sure we all wear masks. And then, well, of course, now we produce them, so we have to. And then again, the distancing. The factory is quite huge, actually. And then we have different departments. And then everybody is aware of COVID because that is what we also teach, how to prevent it. So it's always on our mind.
All right, just before we leave, on a very brief note, what advice would you want to give to such people whose businesses were affected? And there are a lot of people too who are looking at you, listening to you as we speak, who want to start, just like the president encouraged you. What word would you give them as encouragement?
The president is just one person. He cannot be everywhere. during this COVID, he has made a lot of promises. He has done a lot of things trying to encourage both the youth, the vulnerables, the widows. But I think it's for them to grab it. So what I'm advising, there are a lot of things. Start first. There are a lot of things we can start. Now, if they can bring some of these youths that said they don't know how to do anything, let them contract me. I can work with, let's say, Minister of Humanitarian. The Minister of Women Affairs, she's a wonderful woman, Her Excellency, Pauline Talen. She's a visionary. She's someone that sees good thing and she runs for it. And she has passion for Nigerian women. I'll tell you the truth. She has been doing a lot behind. I'll train a lot of these people, empower them. When I empower you, you go back to your community. And we monitor you. You set up in your community. And you empower your community. Not just you. Now, your community involved. So get people from me, from 6 geographical regions. I'll do that.
All right. I'm can assure you that that is already considered done. That's how they said. I put it to you. That is already done. And thank you so much for coming on the show. It's been amazing. And you speak with a lot of passion. I already feel like maybe I should or something. We'll be speaking with the barrister in the house at the moment, who is also a business woman, an entrepreneur, a motivator, a mentor, just whatever you want to call it that is positive. That's what Lovely Mbanefo represents. We'll take a pause on that and move on to join Susan, where she's been able to do a whole lot of things. When we produce, be it food, be it clothes, be it whatever, we always look for who to help us do deliveries, especially now. We do not want to go out there and embrace people that may infect us. Let's talk about logistics and delivery.
The outbreak of coronavirus has completely changed the way we live, the way we do business, and the way our economy functions. More people are being asked to work from homes. Video conferencing and Zoom have replaced face-to-face interaction.
You can see if you go around, you will see the label of no nose mask, no entry everywhere, and also social distancing. If you go into the lobby, we discover that we don't just allow the customers. We're able to maintain a particular distance to ensure the safety of our customers.
There is one business model that is booming almost every part of the country in the midst of corona crisis, and that is home service delivery.
Since we can't have all our customers coming to eat, most of them prefer we deliver it to them at home. That is why we have standby delivery guys. Okay, the logistics system is very effective.
In the last decades, our lives have largely moved from analog to digital world, where most transactions are concluded online. However, the opportunity to order food and other products through smartphones to receive them comfortably at the entrance of your home is a major plus for our day-to-day lifestyle.
Online vendors, food sellers, restaurants, they were looking for logistics companies to deliver food items to their own clients. So our numbers sprang up rapidly.
The pandemic has been a challenging time for us all, including businesses, requiring us to find new innovative ways to serve the public while keeping both our customers and employees safe and devising excellent ways to accomplish this goal.
Earlier on, we had a promo that talked about fake news and media and all the information. And it reminds me of the fact that we should also visit the media. We'll get to do that.
At the dawn of 2020, no one expected the invasion of the new severe acute respiratory syndrome SARS disease into the human space. But it came, and it is still a part of us. Well over 12 months after. As a result, there has been a paradigm shift in the modus operandi in every field of life and endeavor. With the media at the front burner.
It was quite easy for us to just flow in to it, full time instead of the partial we were doing it before. For NTA, it wasn't a problem because over time, one thing people know about us is we are constantly training ourselves both within and outside. So ICT was already a norm in NTA.
The general populace turns to the media to be fed information constantly. Thus, they must stay at the front all the time. But do the needful to stay safe and alive. Many wonder how they have technically moved from the traditional ways of broadcasting.
We are able to reach people who are far and wide. We're able to reach people across countries, across continents. We're able to take people on issues live using the Zoom platform.
We have a short amount of time to put out accurate, authentic, and relevant and believable information. Most of the time we're under pressure. So after a while, when you work for a reputable broadcast house, you will find that these things will come to you naturally. Are these methods encompassing all that is required?
There are benefits and there are demerits. The benefit is, for instance, economically, you save. And then the demerits is the experience you get in traveling, because knowledge is not just garnered in one place. Say the traveler gains more knowledge than the dormant person. And these are climb where you see people struggling to get the internet to be steady, struggling to even get the data on their systems.
Complex situations demand complex solutions. COVID-19 presents such to the media practitioners. And trust the media as always. They are geared up for the task ahead.
I see more of the benefits than the challenge. I recall when I had to do a lot of traveling to go interview people in Lagos, in Joburg, in London, in Dubai, just to chase guests and get things done, follow events and get things done. Sometimes it wasn't really very comfortable for me as a family woman, but I had to do it. It's a job, and I did it. But sitting down in the comfort of my room, sometimes even in my bedroom, I just dress up and then make it look like I'm in the office. I get to interview anybody in the whole world.
In a time of uncertainty and fear, clientele, viewers, consumers, you name it, they want to stay connected, to stay entertained and educated as well. Further advantages which will make it all enduring, even after the world gets rid of the virus, are what you can count on the media to continue to unveil. If you are not still in tune with it, join the bandwagon now and make sure you stay safe.
All right, whatever it is, I told you one thing that is constant is change. Whatever the situation brings, we always find a way of circumventing it and telling our success story out of it. That's what we're doing with COVID-19, restructuring to ensure that we continue to dish out the best to all of you. And talking about the best, I earlier told you that we will be getting to the aviation to get to find out the new norms there. And this is courtesy of Bio.
The outbreak of the dreaded coronavirus in Wuhan, China, disrupted business activities across the world. One of the worst hit sectors of the pandemic is the aviation industry. As expected, the industry witnessed a drop in passenger traffic. Most countries adopted stringent lockdown measures and compliance protocols to protect passengers and crew members from contracting the virus.
We must be at the airport 3 hours before our flight, for local flights, so that all of the protocols can be done and we're able to depart on time. For international, it's going to be minimum of 5 hours before your flight. You must be at the airport. You would see that physical distancing is established by marking the floors and by marking all areas, including that of ticketing, and that of the place where you get checking in, where you get your boarding passes.
You cannot go into the airport terminal building except, of course, you're going on a flight. That's the first thing. When you get to the airport, your baggage is sanitized. There's an area at the airport that's secured for you to visit. That's a first protocol for your baggages to be sanitized. When that is done, you now move through on a queue to a point where it is your body temperature is taken remotely, and then again your hands are sanitized before you move into the terminal building. When you move into the terminal building, you now go to the airline stand that you're traveling with to check in. At the check-in point, the queues are usually spaced such that there's social distancing. And of course, you're required before you can get into any terminal building to wear a mask. So it's very, very important. So when you go through these procedures before you get to the counter, by the time you get to the counter to check in, indeed, what ordinarily would have been the case where you had this milling crowd and all that has been to a large extent removed completely.
Given the highly transmissible nature of COVID-19, aviation authorities in Nigeria put in place a number of measures such as social distancing, washing and sanitizing of hands, and early boarding, among other non-pharmaceutical interventions to reduce the spread of the virus.
I think a lot of people have been given the impression that when you sit in an aircraft that of course is enclosed with other people, of course chances are you can contract the virus. But the truth is, most modern airplanes, which are basically what we have in the fleets of most airlines in the country, have what you call HEPA filters. HEPA is an acronym for HEPA. That's high efficiency particulate arresters. These are filters designed to sort of remove from the air, organisms as minute as microbes. So basically when you have what you have in the aircraft with HEPA filters, basically is that within a matter of a minute and a half to 2 minutes, the entire air in that cabin is filtered. So the cycle repeats itself like every 2-3 minutes. The air in the aircraft is filtered. So to a large extent, this reduces the possibility of being able to contract the virus on an aircraft.
Passengers and airline operators have come to terms with a new way of operations in the travel sector, hoping that as people get vaccinated, life will get back to normal and flying will be more fun and safe.
I believe the end is very soon on the road, but while we're waiting for that end, we must ensure that we maintain protocol, especially if you're going to be making movement. It's important in our lives. Now, at this point, we ask ourselves a question. What do we do during the lockdown? Are we going to sit back and just do nothing? Would the entertainment industry do one thing or the other? But the truth is, the entertainment industry never gave up. Like I said, the beetle never dies. The entertainment industry never gave up. How? Find out from Kachi's story.
The COVID-19 pandemic has vastly impacted all sectors of the economy, and the entertainment industry is no different. Let's see what the new normal looks like for different aspects of this industry. Every year, hundreds of films are produced in Nigeria for a faithful audience within the country and abroad. Last year, the coronavirus pandemic crippled the world's economy, forcing Nigerian cinemas and production companies to shut down operations, disrupting what was said to be yet another impressive year for Nollywood's ambitious projects. This led to indefinite postponement of several films that were already scheduled for theatrical release, many of which are yet to be rescheduled. Entertained briefly by the concept of drive-in movies, film lovers were all too eager to return to the silver screen for the reopening of cinemas last September. Despite the plague and the uncertainties that came with it, filmmaker Kayode Kasum scaled the obstacles to release not one but 4 separate projects, all of which were highly acclaimed. Can't Believe the Whole 30 Yards, This Lady Called Life, Kwam's Money, and the second highest grossing film of last year, Fate of Alakada. In a year with little to celebrate, a handful of films also stood out for bringing entertainment and satisfaction to audiences. Cinephiles turned up to show heavy support for films like Rattlesnake the Ahana Story, Introducing the Kujus, and most notably, Omo Ghetto. This Christmas release grossed 187 million naira at the Nigerian cinemas in less than a week, becoming the country's highest-grossing film of 2020 and replacing 2016's The Wedding Party as the highest-grossing movie in Nollywood history. During this pandemic, streaming services have also proved to be a huge saving grace for the film industry. Big titles like Oloture and Citation skipped cinema release and went straight to digital. Two hotly anticipated titles that were scheduled for a March release last year are finally getting a due date. This Valentine's weekend, 2 Weeks in Lagos will make its cinema debut, while Masala Wahala will be released for streaming. A film on many lips this year was Desmond Obiageli's The Milkmaid, which was Nigeria's official entry to compete at the Academy Awards. Sadly, Nigeria's race ended a few days ago as The Milkmaid did not make the shortlist. Several runway shows didn't hold last year, even with postponements, most notably Lagos Fashion Week. Arise Fashion Week, however, defied the odds to hold a physical runway show, providing the sole highlight of Nigeria's typically robust fashion calendar. Stage performances also reduced to a minimum, but were not entirely cancelled. Drive-in theatre eased out of the scene late last year, and Abuja audiences were treated to a spellbinding production of the iconic Things Fall Apart. Largely immune from the production delays that plagued the film industry was the music sector, which remained on schedule with the release of singles, music videos, and full-length album projects. Last year saw back-to-back album releases from industry heavyweights.
Burna Boy's Twice as Tall, Davido's A Better Time, Wizkid's long-awaited Made in Lagos, and Tiwa Savage's Celia.
It was also a good year for Alte artists like Thames, Oxlade, Fireboy DML, and Omale. 2021 is already off to a promising musical start, with well-received releases this February from Joeboy and a joint project from Femi and Made Kuti. Other highly anticipated drops we can expect to see this year are from Tenny and Rema. Where live music is concerned, however, concerts and music festivals are still on hold, with sporadic drive-in concerts and virtual performances. A major highlight for the music industry this year is the tentative return of the MTV Africa Music Awards. After a 5-year hiatus, the first ever live-streamed virtual MTV Africa Awards was set to hold in Kampala, Uganda. But as of a few days ago, the event has been cancelled due to the country's recent controversial election. Highs and lows regardless, the entertainment industry has found innovative ways to return to and maintain a sense of normal that will only get more exciting as the year unfolds.
Okay, now we know what has been happening with the entertainment industry. In spite of lockdown, we are not locked up. And even in NTA, we definitely are open. We're not locked down. We're locked down physically speaking, but we still reach out. And we have our own entertainment package in-house. It's the trending videos. Let's take it. By the way, you can always make your own contributions via our line, which has been on the screen for a while. We'll reply you. Given talking about education, how has the tertiary institution fared within this period? That's a question ETV will be answering. NTA ETV will be answering with their package. Let's join them.
Following the disruption of academic sections and closure of tertiary institutions due to global COVID-19 pandemic, the government mandated tertiary institutions to adopt and implement virtual education in all Nigerian tertiary institutions to facilitate learning.
But I can tell you, University of Lagos, plenty careful have been made and lecturers are doing their work through the learning management system.
We have quite a number of systems that one can embrace. Zoom is there. Google Meet is there, LMS is there, Moodle, WhatsApp call, all these video conferencing call, to mention about a few.
In Nigeria, as expected, institutions in the new phase of COVID have switched swiftly to various digital learning platforms. The adoption of various approach of virtual learning in schools can be said to be booming and impressive as it is reportedly witnessing serious uptake.
The university, they have made the arrangement that they have trained all the university staff, I mean the academics. We thank our management, and we are making progress, though it's not easy at the initial stage, but up to now, I think more than 80% of our lecturers, they have embraced it, they have gone beyond the normal level, they are into the advanced level of using this particular system. And our students are actually making progress.
Sadly, most institutions are not able to utilize e-learning or get full advantage of it due to insufficient or no virtual learning facilities. This failure has hindered some schools from learning in the new normal. Nevertheless, some other institutions with feasible facilities are operating effectively as it seems.
Some schools I know, like University of Nigeria, Unilorin and the rest, they've embraced Google Meet and Zoom. But for Unilag, so far, we've not had anything like that, though there are plans in the future to have classes through Zoom and Google Meet. But for now, we use a website where lecturers drop notes and assignments. We go there, download the PDFs, and use them for study, then prepare for tests.
From my own faculty, we've just been meeting notes on the sites. But this afternoon, we're having a Zoom class by 4, which is the first we are going to have. I don't know of other departments and all. But once we go on the sites, we meet notes, we download them, and it keeps our progress by really taking a particular box to monitor your progress on how often you visit the sites.
Similarly, the demerits of online learning are obviously glaring as students are complaining of data costs and time-consuming lectures.
And we have to move on with our studies, so it's the best thing that we can do for now. Network issues, although that's based on individual stuff, like your network is based on your own problem, and the site is not strong enough. 100 people, 200 people cannot use the site at the same time. It's logging people out and stuff like that, so that's why.
It's a process, it's stage by stage. We are going to go from this stage 1, 2, 3 to get to the last stage. Just like our advanced countries are. They didn't start at the initial time, and they started in advancing. It was a process before they got to where they are. So we equally do that the way things are going.
With a distinctive rise of various creative methods of e-learning in tertiary institutions, government is advised to equip government schools with virtual facilities as part of its educational transformation agenda.
All right, it's still Weekend Deal, and I have joined me in the studio another guest. And this time around, he is a specialist in terms of certain field. If you want to call it in our local palace, stomach infrastructure. I'm talking about the National Secretary, Federation of Agricultural Commodity Association of Nigeria, FECAN. And he is Dr. Bello Nuhu Dagon Dari. Dogo Darichi. You're welcome to the program.
It's my pleasure.
But then when I talk about the elderly, the opposite is the younger one. And I know that there are very young people who are in farming. A lot of them are just doing it for the love of it. Some are also doing it because they need money. But I know that with people like you, mentoring can go a long way to help them. Your association, does it have such things as mentoring the young farmers to ensure that they get to greater heights in productivity?
You see, in the first instance, FACAN is a bridge between the organized private sector and the public. That is what we're doing. Then if you are involved on the change, the bulk of the people that are participating, it is the youth. It is the youth. And the agriculture is the biggest employer of labor. It is the biggest employer of labor. So you can see the change. You can see the synergy. So the youth constitute bulk of our participating farming communities.
That's good.
So they need to be encouraged at every level. And that is exactly what we are doing.
Okay. Could you also assist them with small capital to?
No, the central bank does that.
Okay.
It is not our responsibility, but we ensure we prepare them to access these facilities.
That's good.
Through advocacies. Because a farmer who is in the bush, who is in his farm, busy doing his farming activities,
may not
may not have the opportunities to know the information or how to access some of these palliatives doled out by our governments.
All right. Now you're talking about information. My mind quickly went to information. Being also a key to growing up. One of them is within this period. We've had COVID for 1 year running, and we're still counting. We don't know when it's going to go. Today, I think about 1,000 plus tested positive with 24 people dead. I don't know what strategies is your organization, putting in place to ensure that as much as it's still with us, we make sure that we continuously produce safely so too. Are you educating the younger ones?
We are educating the younger ones. What did you see here? Okay. This is Federation of Agricultural Commodity Association, and this is First Mark. And through advocacy and collaborations, this you see, it is a true collaborations with Federal Ministry of Industry, Trade and Investment. Mm-hmm. They facilitated this to ensure that all our members across the value chain are secured.
That's good.
They are protected. So these are some of the things. And in the same ministry, they have doled out some palliatives that are out there to ensure that the small and medium enterprises get linked, and get some support, because people are really suffering.
Definitely.
So if you are not doing advocacy, if you are not telling government, do what you are supposed to do, people are suffering, then it will not get to the down. It will not get to the farmers, who constitute the bulk of our people, the productive sector. So they should be encouraged. They should come up. So how do they access some of these things? It is through our advocacy. Our advocacy.
All right. No, talking about your advocacy, I want to take it from the other side. Advocacy for people like me. A lot of times I go to the market, I try to buy something, and I get goosebumps because I'm not even sure what to buy anymore, because I hear that there's a whole lot of things used to produce, plant these things to make them look bigger and fresher. Your organization, of which you're the president, what are you doing to educate not just the producers now, but as well the sellers, because you're a bridge to ensure that what we eat, especially now, is pertinent, is healthy for everyone, instead of adding too much chemicals or pesticides and all that?
You see, I'm happy you asked this question. And I'm happy also to inform you the role of FACAN is to ensure that from production to the table.
Okay, to my house.
Yes, to your house. We are there. And we ensure that every stage of every commodity, our people are on the line, ensuring that the best practice is done. What we call global best
Practices.
farming practice.
So I, as an individual, if I find someone who is doing the wrong thing, can I report to you? Is there any way of communicating to you? I mean, on your lines and all that?
Yes, you can.
To call,
you
okay,
can.
I see somebody
you
using
can.
a sniper to clean this.
Yes, you
I
can. You can.
That's good to
you
know.
can. You can. And we will take up that matter. And there are regulatory agencies that are also responsible for that. I wonder whether you understand. We are intermediary, like I have said.
I know.
Between the organized private sector and government. That is the public.
And we've been speaking with the National General Secretary, Federation of Agricultural Commodity Association of Nigeria, FECA, and that's Dr. Bello Nuhu Dogundaji. Thank you for coming on the show.
Thank you, Wanda.
And let's continue to eat healthy while you produce. Somehow, somewhere, this thing is going to go away and we live our lives. I like to hug, I like to shake, I like to express myself. And the good thing is that I have this environment to express myself. As much as I cannot hug you, I can still say, have a nice day and see you again tomorrow. Tomorrow is Lover's Day, by the way, Valentine's Day. And I will show you big time love with my cake. It's a must, it's a date. And write me nice letters tomorrow. I'll read them here.